I'm not sure at what point is the stream exactly going to start, but I'm just gonna... Oh, for the love of timer, can you behave? Anyways, starting again. Not sure at what point the stream is exactly going to start, but whoever is going to be watching this now or later, hello and welcome. We're playing Trails and streaming for once. For once. Because apparently the stable schedule that I was expecting was anything but stable. That's on me. Anyway, let me switch the visual to the game. There we go. And now switch this and switch this. Right, do I remember controls? I guess I do. Well, did we do everything here? I think I did do everything here. Actually, we did everything across the entire thing, I believe. Let me double check. The last thing that we did was in Trinity, which means the Abbas's request. Which would be... Yeah, the only thing that we have left is checking on IBC at this point. Which is what I'm going to be doing right now. But a quick recap of what we did last stream would be... Let's see. Not this one. Not this one. Not this one. Not this one. This one, we caught 5 eels, as it is written here, to Shanshan, and gave them to Shanshan. Then we trained Testaments, and then by extension Saber Vipers appeared as well. And then we trained them both at the same time. Basically, the initial task that we thought we were going to do was to train Testaments, some members of Testaments, for self-defense. But apparently Abbas called Saber Vipers as well. So we beat the Testaments, then we had to beat the Saber Vipers, and then we had to beat them both at once. So that was interesting. And then there was some shenanigans about between Dr. Lago and Archbishop Eralda. We also learned some stuff about the context of their disagreement, which essentially was the fact that Lago was training to be a priest, but then he basically got poached by the hospital director, medical college director, same thing. And then we dealt with the monster here, which was... If it wasn't a request, I wouldn't even have bothered, because it didn't even give any EXP at that point. Anyway, I think that's about everything. Let me check this other stuff. Let's see. And Belgard. Oh, while at Tangram, Belgard, we found Mirail, and she seems to be acting, let's just say, oddly in front of Randy. And we also learned that, well, it is hinted, or more specifically implied by her, that Randy's reason for discharge from CGF might not be trouble with women, as we've seen before, as we've heard him mention that. And multiple members of CGF are actually rather confused about that part. What else? Then at Tangram Gate we found Lynn and Eolia, and their purpose is to travel to Coward's Branch for some guild business. We also learned that Lynn is from Coward and that she also is a master practitioner of Taito. Then we found Chiruru in the inn area. She is still lost. I have no clue when her friend is actually going to see her again. Then we got some context from Sonia about the truck accident related to Rivasha, and it happened. And apparently, it was the same truck that was used for the monster attacks. Then in Armorica, we learned that Derek told us Sun is planning to set up a food stall in Crossbow for the anniversary festival, but a villager, Donald, seems to have a bad feeling about it for some reason. What else? We heard a few mentions of Ren potentially being around the mountain tunnel near mines, and more specifically near the Rosenberg studio pad. What else? Important part, we found Estelle, Joshua, and Harold talking at the Backroll General Store, and given the context of the conversation, it seems that they are evaluating Harold, given that they know about Ren's circumstances. And Estelle is having difficulty, well, not acting suspicious. And we also get some extra context that from Kimmy, I believe that is the shopkeep's daughter, question mark? I'm not entirely sure, but she said that Harold looks very sad when looking at her. That does give us some clues, but not enough actual context to get any proper conclusions. What else? At Ursula, we learned that Shizuku can recognize people from footsteps. Then we also learned from the annoying politician person, Gable, about some kind of a event happening next month during the anniversary festival, and apparently he was able to participate in it last year only due to his ties with Hartman. And since Hartman is related to Erbonia and I believe Rivasha, both of them, I'm not entirely sure, it's been a while, but I think that's the case. The Coward related one has a different name, I think. But given that context, that event happening next month might actually be related to Rivasha at the beginning of the chapter mentioning something of that sort. Specifically the Dawn mentioning that it's more important than dealing with Heiyue. Or more important than... let me just... Where is it? No. Can't... No. Sure. Okay. Seems like Russia is focusing strongly on Heiwa to the point that their mishaps with SSS and CPD are not even that relevant. No. He also says that Rivasha has begun countermeasures against Heiwa already. He then mentions more pressing concerns, specifically the next month's auction. Don is really not worried about the guild or the police. Seems like he's only worried about Heiwa interfering with the auction. So with this extra context, we can imply that the important event, or that event, as according to Gable, is most likely referring to the auction, but we still lack context. Like, we're just through the clues of it being related to Hartman, it being an auction, and it being handled by Rivasha, suggests that it is not a very legal auction, but well, we don't have enough context, so whatever. Then we've found Cecile, who basically invited Lloyd on an outing to Archangel's show next month. And Lloyd agreed. Theo and Elie were mildly annoyed by that, and Randy was, well, Randy. Okay. Did Herbs, Croswell Station Street, nothing. Central Square in the Times store from Old Man Honest, we learned that Crossbell Times actually once managed to expose a politician for tax evasion a while back, but then he apparently suddenly got ill and was hospitalized. And he said that it might have been a big cover-up, and that apparently his name starts with a G. And as my personal note says, conveniently, Gable was admitted to Ursula, and his name also starts with a G. So that is potentially relevant. Then from Burek on West Street, we learned that IBC has invested a lot into the Obel Network project. Then we find out that Oscar's bread making ended up with him getting some Archangel tickets from a pretty lady living in the apartments. And later in Villa Raisins, we we get hints that heavily imply that pretty lady might have been Elie herself. Because in Villa Raisins we learned that the one living in the third floor apartment that was unknown until this point is actually Elie. At Bond's house in the residential, we learned that he decided to decline the promotion at Croydon in Arbonia. Then we actually get to enter Ellie's house, where a lot of people are worried about Elie, but Elie reassures them and Basically, it's fine. What else? We also find Pentos, the guy who walks in the street, and apparently he's an investor in Michelin, which means getting free Michi goods, and Tio is jealous of that. Envious, envious, envious. Then in our concho we have the usual shenanigans. Found Lilia, who was indeed being late. Then Randy was Randy. Risha was also around. Dudley was also around, and he was still acting like an arrogant prick. In the casino we get some context from Drake about the Grand Premiere. Specifically the fact that, we learned that he has been the mayor for 15 years, and it's thanks to him that Crossbill has functioned through those years. Then in admin district near the CPD HQ, we get a hint that Donovan was he seemingly knows Guy, and he recognizes Lloyd as his brother. Then inside the building we found Monkey Pier looking for something, which, I mean, last time we had someone be like that, it became a quest, so maybe it will become a quest again. And then we learn that Raymond finds Emma, the woman that seems to be Dudley's partner, annoying, and as my personal note says, you know that she's truly annoying when even Raymond calls her that. The guy who keeps trying to hit on the girl, on every girl he sees. We learn then at City Hall we learn Ernest's last name, which is Rice. What else? In the guild, even Michelle acknowledges that Risha has a big personality, but he himself seems to be more interested in the male performers. Well, okay. Then we learn a bit more about the guild incident in Erebonia, where apparently Wenzel was actually part of the bracers that handled that. And then Scott, on the other hand, is struggling to see his fiancée due to work, which is probably the receptionist at the department store. One of them at least. Did the request for the eel. Then in Nine Valley, Ashley was still out, but later we found her at Trinity drinking with Wazi. Then we taught that brain, please. Then we taught the Testaments and Saber Vipers, and then both of them at once some self-defense. And that was basically it. We also learned from Vazi that Abbas is apparently from the Middle Eastern part of Zemuria. Then off-stream notes. Off-stream notes, I grinded some Sepet, which was barely enough to upgrade a slot for Elie. And then I made one more supreme dish to offer to the to this thing. Oh, I can offer another one. Well then, have fun. I'm not sure what I even offered, but it's fine. Anyway, going to IBC.
IBC ビルか。何度見てもすげえビルだな。
こうして見ると余裕で10階以上あるみたいだな。
確か16階建てのはずよ。そのうち5階から10階までは外部の会社が入っているみたいね。
Some trivia about IBC. According to Elie, 16 floors, about 16 floors, unaffiliated, affiliated companies located 5 through 10 floors.
そのうち
そうなのか。
クロスベル市の税収に相当貢献していそうですね。
それでどうするんだ。アポイントもなしに来ちゃったけど。
It's fine. Surely Elie has an idea.
そうね。まずは中の受付で聞いてみましょう。
Going with the basics.
エリー
Why are you here?
アーネストさん。
We were just planning to enter the building to inquire with the receptionist about what we need, but Ernest seems appeared from the direction of the building. How convenient.
「奇遇だな。こんなところで会うなんて。みんな一緒ということは警察の用事で来たのかい？
ええ、少し調べることがありまして。アーネストさんはおじい様のご用ですか？
ああ、事務所の運営資金の管理についての相談をね。来月から特に忙しくなるし、いろいろやりくりが大変なんだよ。
Apparently he was here for a consultation about the office operating the funds.
そうですか。
それでエリー。
No,
少しは
stop.
考えてくれたかい？
For the love of.
はい。やはり今警察を辞めるわけにはいきません。
Go, Elie, go.
私はまだ何もつかめていない。少なくともその何かがつかめるまでは半人前だと思いますから。かえっておじい様の足を引っ張ってしまうと思います。
だが君が求めているものは本当にその道の先にあるのかい？ひょっとしたらそれはただの蜃気楼かもしれないぞ。
I don't. Ernest. He both sounds genuinely worried about her and excessively obsessive. How? How do you sound both nice and evil at the same time? I'm having a headache.
そうかもしれません。でもこの2ヶ月、いろいろ見えてきたことがあります。
Oh, it's been already 2 months. He still seems to be very adamant. Is that the correct word? Adamant? Adamant. Is that even... Interest? No. Annoyed? No. Sweet Adis, what is the most applicable word here? Still seems to be very... well, not very. Let's reword that. Rather against Elie working in SSS. Elie says that she wants to keep on for the time being. We also learned that it has been around 2 months since SSS formed.
一つ一つの問題を解決することで少しずつ成長できた実感もあります。多分あのまま事務所に入っておじい様の秘書の一人になっていたら手に入らなかった貴重な経験です。ですからごめんなさい。少なくとも一人前になるまで今の立場で頑張りたいと思います。
どうやら迷いが消えたようだね。わかった。もう何も言わないよ。
Oh. Huh. He just gave up his pressure after Elie, well, after Ellie's answered him with certainty. That just feels too easy. Easy is the right word here. Is it the right word here in this context? That just felt too easy. It inversely feels that he's just acting. Huh. Sure, I'll bite. Sure, I'll bite. You're letting Elie do what she wants.
やれやれ。 せっかく事務所に有能な後輩が入ると思ったんだが
Or do you just want to laze around?
当てが外れてしまったようだな。
アーネストさん、
ただそうだな、来月の創立記念祭の時には式典にぜひ出席してほしい。
Does say that he has a small request, which is for her to visit the opening ceremony of the anniversary festival next month. I mean, I guess that's fine.
本来なら君のお母様に出ていただきたかったんだが、さすがに市長のご家族が一人も出席しないのは寂しいからね。
わかりました。アーネストさん、いろいろとありがとうございます。
一応君の先生だったこともあるしね。これくらいは気にかけさせてくれ。おっと、こんな場所で時間を取らせてしまったな。君たちもお仕事頑張ってくれ。それとエリーお嬢さんを頼んだよ。
はい。
Huh. I mean, maybe I was wrong about him?
ずいぶんエリーのことを考えてくれている人みたいだな。
I mean, we did get that impression. That is actually accurate.
先生をしてたとか言ってたけど。
Huh.
ええ、私が小さい頃に家庭教師をしてくれていたの。
He then left after telling us to take care of Elie. Apparently he was also her tutor when she was a child. Okay.
留学してからはちょっと疎遠になってしまっていたけど。
They went out of contact while Elie was studying abroad.
やっぱり政治家志望なんですよね。ええ、来年の議員選挙では新人として出馬するみたいね。帝国派と共和国派のどちらにも属さないつもりらしいからとても苦労すると思うけれど。
政治家の卵ってわけか。
Elie thinks that he's planning to announce his diet election candidacy next year, and that he is not planning to join either Imperial or Republican factions.
しかし政治家の秘書にしちゃ結構いいがたいをしてたよな。
Randy?
なんか武術でもやってんのか。
確か剣術の経験があるはずよ。
Huh. Randy noticed that he's built well. Elie says that he's apparently an experienced fencer.
結構な腕前みたいだからおじいさまの護衛も兼ねてるって聞いたことがあるけど。
He's also Grandpa Mayor's bodyguard. Okay.
なるほど。体格がいいのも納得だな。
おやおや。
Grace? Is that Grace? That is Grace. Now Grace exits from there.
またとね。
Who's next? Cassia's bride? Now Grace appears from the direction of IBC. Who's next? Cassia's bride?
グレイソン。
何？ IBC に用事？一緒に来てるってことは 操作にでも来たのかしら。
いや別に大したことじゃないですよ。
Lloyd, you're not fooling anyone with that act.
ええ、ちょっとした問い合わせに来ただけです。
まあいっか。
I guess Grace does not care
私
that
も
much.
忙しいからこの場は見逃してあげる。
Huh.
それじゃまたね。
Grace?
相変わらずマイペースな姉さんだな。
Grace? Busy? Just how busy does she have to be to actually ignore a situation that basically screams that there is something going on here? She talks for a bit, but then leaves, saying that she's busy. Really? Really?
でもグレイスさんにしては食いつきが悪かったですね。
Yeah, Tio has noticed.
そんなに忙しいんでしょうか。まあ記念祭の前ともなると取材することも多いんでしょうね。
できればこっちの記事も諦めてくれるといいんだけど。まあいい、そろそろビルに入ろう。総裁に面会できないか受付で問い合わせてみないとな。
ええ、行きましょう。
Finally, we can get into the building. Unless actually someone else appears while we're trying to enter. Actually, let's see. Maybe I can find Grace in around here somewhere. I'd say probably not unless she's here. And let's quickly scan the areas. If she's not around here, then she's probably just gone for the time being. No one here. No one here. No one here. I'm just gonna quickly rip through the entire area, excluding the inner buildings. But she might be in the inner buildings, so. Nope. 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 Yeah, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of things to follow through here. Oh. Worst case scenario, if I missed anything, we have a save. Assuming I don't run out of saves. Anyway. IBC. According to Corina, Lanfei used to hold a secretarial role. Her penmanship is gorgeous.
いらっしゃいませ。クロスベル国際銀行へようこそ。あら、エリー様。それに特務支援課の方々も。先日は新サービスのテストに協力いただいてありがとうございました。おかげさまで大変好評を博しておりますわ。
そうなんですか。
お力になれたみたいですね。
ええ、また何かあればよろしくお願いいたします。それで本日はどのようなご用件でしょう。
Honestly, I think I was expecting her voice to be a bit deeper.
ランフィーさん、実は問い合わせたいことがあって、ディーター総裁はいらっしゃるでしょうか。
あら、マリアベル様ではなくクロイス総裁にご用件ですか。
ええ、アポイントなしなので申し訳ないんですけど、それともやはりご不在でしょうか。
いえ、今日は珍しくいらっしゃっていますよ。
Oh.
面会は同僚の方々もご一緒に。
ええ、とある事件について少々総裁に相談に乗っていただきたいことがありまして。
まあそうなんですか。わかりました。少々お待ちください。
We then inquire Lanfei about we then approach Lanfei and Elie takes the rest. Apparently CEO is actually in the office right now, which is good for us.
さすがお嬢、ほぼ顔パスじゃねえか。
やっぱり世界が違うって感じだな。
はいはい、かしこまりました。そのままお通しします。エリー様、総裁がお会いになるそうです。
Seems like we got a pass in. We got in.
カードを発行しますので、そのまま最上階の総裁室まで直接お行きになってください。
ええ、ありがとう。
Nice.
それじゃあみんなエレベーターに乗りましょう。
ああ、そうしよう。助かったよ、エリ。
そんじゃま、早いことお邪魔するとしようかね。
Thank you. And now, can I get some exchange here? Give me like 300 here, 400 here. 100 here. That should be fine. Nice. Because currently I lack the basic elemental sepet, and not the higher elemental sepet. Well, not that I can do a lot of that, a lot about that right now. So. Hmm.
さてと、総裁の部屋は最上階だったか。
Into the elevator we go.
カードみたいなのをもらってたけど、あれは何なんだ？
Lloyd?
ああ、認証用のカードよ。他の会社なんかも入っているから、関係のあるフロアでしか降りられないようにしてるみたい。
なるほど、セキュリティシステムかよ。しかし最新技術を惜しみなく使ってるって感じだよな。
もともとクロスベル市における動力ネットワーク計画は IBC の主導だそうですから、それに自治州政府が入って今の形に発展したのだそうです。噂では計画の 60% の資金を IBC が提供しているとか。
Oh, sweet hell. A discussion about IBC using latest tech. We learn from Tio that about 60% of the funding for the Obol network project comes from IBC.
ええ、確かそうだったはずよ。残りの 30% が自治州で 10% がエプスタイン財団の負担だったかしら。
Elie adds that 30% comes from cross-bow government, and the remainder is covered by the Epstein Foundation.
残りの 30% が自治州で 10% がエプスタイン財団の負担だったかしら。
すごいな。半分以上も負担してるのか。
I mean, it's a banking service. It makes sense.
んで、その太っ腹の親玉がこの最上階にいるわけか。
ええ、カードを使うわね。
Okay. That was quick.
No.
Ah, the big floor, where we can see most of the crossbow from.
すごいな。
はあ、いかにもミラがかかってますって感じだな。
下のフロアにあるエプスタイン財団の事務所には何度か来たことはありますが、最上階は見晴らしも格別ですね。
そうね。総裁室は奥の突き当たりよ。お待たせしても悪いからそろそろ行きましょう。
ああ、そう。
Actually, why is this here? Now that I think about it, why is this here structurally? Like, if this is where the elevator is, then what is this for? I guess realistically speaking, this entire part is probably also glass filled like this, with windows. So this would be just for the view, I guess. It's just that from this angle we can't see it. Hmm. 16th floor. Bell's room is apparently closed. Identified as Bell's room potentially by Elie.
おじさま、エリーです。
We enter CEO's office.
おお、入りたまえ。
はい、失礼します。
久しぶりだ。
Huh. Hello. That's not the yeah. That's not the face I was expecting from that voice. Roughly.
半年ぶりくらいになるかな。
はい、ディーターおじさまもお元気そうで何よりです。そのアポイントもなしにお邪魔して申し訳ありません。
水臭いことは言わないでくれたまえ。君は友人の娘で、我が娘の幼なじみでもある。身内も同然じゃないか。
ありがとうございます。
うん。警察に入ったというのは娘から聞いていたが、そちらの彼らが同僚なのかね。
はい、同じ特務支援課の仲間です。
はじめまして、ロイド・バニングスと言います。
ランディ・オルランド。
ティオ・プラトーです。
クロスベルタイムズで君たちのことは一応知っているよ。
That's well. Hopefully you read some good things, and not whatever slander we're getting currently.
IBC の総裁を務めるディーター・クロイスだ。
I don't know what is it about his facial structure, but I sincerely cannot tell how old he is. I'd say from my perspective, his age interval would be anywhere between 30 and 60. I cannot tell. I don't know what is it about his facial structure, but I cannot tell. He greets Elie very warmly. Then we introduce ourselves. Ourselves, not ourselves. And then we get an introduction from Dieter himself. I'll just refer to him as Dieter from now on. That's going to be simpler.
ロイド君、ランディ君、ティオ君、どうか私のことは遠慮なくディーターと呼んでくれたまえ。
Okay, that is an interesting personality. He's like a more official version of a more official, formal version of Olivier? Question mark? I'm trying to figure out what kind of personality does he feel like. It's like a combination of Olivier and that combination, that it does not make sense like time-wise. It's not from the same games, but he feels like a combination of Olivier and Dudley in a very odd fashion.
今、歯が光ったような。
Shining teeth moment.
なんかむちゃくちゃ爽やかそうなおっさんだな。
しかし何やら警察の仕事で相談したいことがあるそうだが。
Yes, that is indeed true.
一体どうしたのかね。
はい、実は私たちある事件を追って捜査を進めているのですが。
Black screen transition
なるほ
to explaining the context.
ど。そのイントやらの動力メールが IBC から君たちのオフィスに送られてきたのか。
We explain the situation after he basically tells us to be friendly because you're friends with Elie.
Eh, そうなんです。おそらくこのビルにあるメイン端末からだと思います。それを操作して送った可能性が高いかと。
このビルのセキュリティには正直自信を持っていてね、特に端末室があるフロアには許可されている人間しか入れないようにしているんだ。
Okay.
端末の操作も権限があるものしかできないようになっている。
According to Dieter, the security is very good on the IBC main terminal floor. Only a few people can access it as is, and you need proper authentication.
大変失礼ですが、端末を操作できるスタッフの中に不審な方はおられないでしょうか。最近入ったばかりとか、何か後ろ暗いことがあるとか。
私の知る限り信頼できるものばかりだけどね。それよりロイド君、他の可能性はありえないのかな？
What? Lloyd asks about any potential suspicious people that could physically access the terminal. Dieter asks. Dieter says that no, he trusts his people, and then asks Lloyd if we have considered other possibilities.
例えば、インの正体がこの私で君たちにメールを送ったとか。
This is why I said that he feels like Olivier. He's trolling now.
マジかよ。
おじさま。
例えばと言っただろう。伝説の刺客とやらの正体が私みたいな立場の人間だったらなかなか面白いとは思うが、さすがに現実はそこまで奇想天外ではないだろうしね。
Considering what we have seen across previous Tree games, honestly, you really cannot say that. You really can't say that. I mean, in the Sky arc, we went from your neighborhood friendly bracers that just do requests and save the day to, hey, we're currently flying into this random flying fortress to save the entire world. The average JRPG shenanigans, let's be honest.
はあ。
もう驚かせないでください。お茶目な方ですね。
これは失敬。しかし考えてもみたまえ。もしそのメールを送ったのがここのスタッフだった場合、自分が犯人だと名乗るのも等しい行為なのではないかな。
確かにそうですね。
逆にスタッフ以外の可能性を考えた方がいいってことか。
ティオ、あのメールが IBC の端末から支援課に送られたという記録、それを偽装することは可能なのか。
そうですね。
He implied that the suspect was for the email was potentially not from IBC. That made Lloyd's brain work. Lloyd's brain gears turn, and he asked Tio about the possibility of masking the location of the sender.
別の場所から IBC の端末にハッキングを仕掛けた可能性はゼロではないかもしれません。
ハッキング？
Tio says that it is possible that the terminal was hacked from different location. It seems, however, that the term hacking is not exactly the most known term.
なんだそりゃ。
Yep.
私も詳しくは確か端末を守っているセキュリティを解除することで不正に操作する技術だったかしら。
I mean, basically.
おおむね合っています。動力ネットワークでつながっている端末同士であれば原理的にはどこからでも可能です。もっとも高度な知識と技術を持っている必要がありますわ。
ちなみにそれを行う者をハッカーというらしい。動力ネットは大陸全土でもまだ限られた地域で試験的にしか運用されていないんだが、早くもそういう事例が報告されているらしいね。
Dieter says that these people are called hackers, and apparently even due to mobile network being in its testing phase, hackings still occur. On the other hand, he also says that there is a limited number of places with terminals that can access the network, which is a clue. Because if there was too many places, we could not limit the searching field. But if there is a limited amount of places, we could go through that, which might be what we're doing next.
なるほど。
ってことはインってのは視覚だけじゃなくてハッカーでもあるってことか。
そこまでは断定できないけど、例のメールがこのビルの外部から送られた可能性はあるみたいね。
信頼するスタッフを疑わずに済むのはいいんだが、メイン端末がハッキングされたというのもそれはそれで由々しき問題だ。よし、こうしよう。君たちが端末室に入れるよう手配しようじゃないか。
Oh. Are you sure you want to? I mean, we are trustworthy. At least I hope so. So, from that perspective, sure, but from security perspective, I can't really say I endorse allowing physical access to a room that to a room that seemingly handles a lot of financial transactions across the entire continent.
いいんですか？
Dieter thought for a bit and decided to let us investigate the terminal room itself. Technically a security hazard, but we're also technically trustworthy. So it balances out? It balances out, question mark?
ああ、メイン端末を調べればハッキングの痕跡などが残っているかもしれないし、スタッフも詰めているから話を聞くこともできるだろう。
Okay.
助かります。
おじさま、どうもありがとうございます。
Oh, we hit an hour mark. So I guess I'll do a quick break. OBS is here. This thing is here. There. And be back in... Yeah. BRB. Okay, back.
いや、こちらにとっても見過ごせない問題だからね。しかしエリー、なかなか充実した日々を過ごしているようじゃないか。最初君が警察に入ったと聞いて少々疑問に思ったものだが、なるほど、確かにいい経験ができそうな職場だ。私も改めて応援させてもらうよ。
Oh. He also seems to approve of Elie working in the police force. Huh.
おじさま、
Nice.
そう言っていただけるととても心強いです。
それに君たちも雑誌で読んだ以上に可能性を感じさせてくれるね。気づいているだろうが、このクロスベルという自治州は非常に難しい場所だ。おそらくエリーなどはそれを痛感しているだろうが、一番問題だと思われるのは正義というものが完全に形骸化してしまっていることだ。
Then says that we have potential and mentions that Crossbow has some unique circumstances. Says that the biggest problem is that justice has lost all substance. That honestly sounds a bit aggressive, but I can see where he is coming from on this.
正義の形骸か。
それはどういう意味でしょうか。
正義はともすれば綺麗事と同じ意味と捉えられる場合も多いだろう。あり方も人それぞれだから、正義などは存在しないと嘘吹く者もいるかもしれない。
I mean, true, depending on the perspective, both are true.
だがどんな形であれ、結局のところ人は正義を求めてしまう生き物なのだよ。
人が正義を求める生き物。
なぜなら正義というものは人が社会を信頼する根拠だからだ。もし犯罪が起こった時にそれを法によって裁くという正義が存在しなければ、多くの者は家に閉じこもり、めったに街に出ることはないだろう。
I guess from that perspective, true.
そうなったら社会生活はまともに成り立たなくなってしまう。だがこのクロスベルでは正義の形が曖昧でも何とか成り立ってしまっている。
それは
政治の腐敗やマフィアの問題、それを警察が取り締まらなくても経済的には恵まれているから多くの市民は生活に困らない。結果的に単純犯罪は少ないが目に見えない悪がはびこっていく。だがそんな中でもやはり人は正義というものをどこかに求めざるを得ない。どんな形であれ社会を信頼できる安心感を欲してしまうからだ。
He seems to be aware of the of the deeper parts of Crossbell's situation. Corruption and mafia included.
だからクロスベルではここまで遊撃士の人気が高いのだよ。
Oh, okay, that is true.
民間人の安全を最優先で守る。確かに正義の味方って感じですね。
Yeah, but that's from the civilian perspective. As I believe it was mentioned a few times before in the game, the Bracers code of conduct, or the equivalent, guiding principles, I forgot the exact terms, but those essentially allowed them to interfere in anything and anywhere as long as one condition is met, and that condition is safety of civilians, of people. If people, or yeah, if the safety of civilians is not being obviously and clearly affected, or more specifically directly affected in most cases, then they cannot interfere, or they will lose their ability to function across the entire continent. I believe that was the argument.
なるほどね。他の国に比べて妙に遊撃士が持ち上げられてるとは思ったが。
とても納得がいきます。
だが知っての通り、遊撃士協会が行使できる正義はあくまで限定的なものだ。
Literally what I just said.
この町の歪みを根本的に解決することは不可能だろう。だからこそ私は君たちに期待したいのだよ。
He also intrinsically I'll just not use that word because I do not remember how to spell it. So he also understands that bracers, while they are able to solve some of the issues, cannot approach others due to their limitations, and because of that, he expects us. He has expectations for us who work in the basically equivalent of the gray zone between the actual police force and bracers.
遊撃士の代わりに悪を倒せってことっすか?
Not exactly, I'd imagine. Probably like let bracers take care of their thing. Let the police, like the first division and whatnot, take care of their thing, and we take care of our thing.
そんな単純なことを言うつもりは毛頭ないよ。
Yeah.
君たちが君たちなりに正義を追求している姿、それが目に見える形で市民に示されることが重要だと思うのだ。
クロスベルにもまだ正義が存在している。そう信じられるきっかけを市民に与えるということですね。
その通りだ。その意味では あのクロスベルタイムズの記事も非常に有意義だと言えるだろう。まだまだ未熟な警察の若者が時に失敗しながらも正義を求めて奮闘する姿、面白がる者もいるだろうが否定的な市民は少ないはずだ。温度差の違いはあっても皆君たちに期待しているのだよ。どうやら今日に乗って一石ぶってしまったようだな。本題に戻ろう。端末室への立ち入りを君たちに許可する話だったね。
Yeah, true.
はい、そうしていただければ。
どちらに行けば許可がいただけるでしょうか。
そうだな。私も端末室には入れるから案内してもよかったんだが、あいにくこの後いろいろ予定が立て込んでいてね。
すみません、本当にお忙しいところ。
Anyway, back to the point. Actually, let's see. Peter basically says that we, due to our unique circumstances, are able to do what only do things that only we can do, unlike the police or bracers. He also mentions that the articles in Times help us regardless, because it allows people to see that we are doing something, at least. Back to the point, he says that he was planning that he would escort us to the main terminal, but he's too busy.
何？気にしないでくれ。しかし、そうだな。ならば、スタッフの誰かをここに呼ぶとしようか。
その必要はありませんわ。
That is a clear what was it again? The archetype, clear Ojo-sama voice. God, those are some big twin tails. Twin tails? Are those twin tails? Oh. Just as he was about to get an employee to escort us, Bell appeared, as implied by Elie.
おお、帰ってきたか。
お父様、ただいま戻りました。
How does that hair work? What do you need to do to achieve that kind of spiral? Oh, whatever. Why am I trying to question the hair physics in a JRPG? Yeah. On second thought, I probably should not do that.
エリー、久しぶりですわね。
ちょっ
she hugs Elie. Seems like they are really close.
2ヶ月ぶりですわね。でもあなた少し痩せたんじゃなくて、手とか足とかちょっと硬くなっていてよ。
鍛えているから少し筋肉がついただけよ。むしろ体重は少し増えたんじゃないかしら。
なるほど。言われてみれば筋肉のしなやかさを感じますわね。
Just how handsy are you getting with Elie here?
これはこれでなかなかの感触ですわ。
なんかすごい人だな。
Yeah.
美人同士が絡むとそれだけで絵になるつうか。
Randy.
というか、ただの友達同士にはちょっと見えないんですが。
Theo?
やれやれ、スキンシップはそのくらいにしたらどうかね。
Oh.
他の客人が呆れているぞ。
あら。
紹介するわね。
According to her father, Dieter, seems like Belle enjoys some skinship. Elie then actually introduces her.
彼女はマリア・ベル、総裁の娘さんで私の友人よ。
Maria Bell Croix.
ベル、彼らは私の同僚で、ロイドとランディとティオちゃんって。
紹介は結構ですわ。
She just ignored.
自分で見聞しますから。
Wait, what do you mean inspect? We are... Elie was about to introduce us, but Belle says that she'd rather inspect us herself. That's an interesting wording. Phrasing. Okay.
なるほど。
何か。
あなたは合格。可愛らしいですわね。
Then she proceeds to scan question mark everyone. Theo seems to pass due to her being cute.
であなたたちは不合格ですわ。
Randy and Lloyd fail. Bruh.
なんだそりゃ。
I think that differs in terms of perspective. Randy.
こんなむさ苦しい男どもが私のエリーのそばにいるなんて。
My dear Elie. Huh. Depending on how serious she is, I think she might be more obsessive than earnest.
エイドスも許さざる所業ですわね。
She sounds like Erica. She sounds like Erica with Krosner. That's the closest equivalent that I can think of.
むさ苦しいって。
ちょっとベル、大体何ですのそのラフすぎる服装は。
At this point, I am not even getting her angle. Outfits? Personality? If it's the outfits... I mean... Okay, fair. I guess I can kinda see that.
せめてスーツくらい着るのが礼儀というものでしょうに。
Okay, no, that's too far. That's too far. Like, I think she wants Lloyd and Randy to be, like, in a similar attire to Dudley? To be barely passable?
これはその街中や市街で捜査活動するときはこの方が都合がいいと言いますか。
Yeah, like, do you really want us to walk with suits throughout the entirety of Crossbow?
言い訳は結構ですわ。まったく。だから私は警察入りなんて反対したのよ。私の授業を手伝ってくれた方がはるかに有意義だったでしょうに。
Oh.
もうベルってば。
Dieter? What you...
盛り上がっているようだね。うん。若い者は若い者同士で親交を温めてくれたまえ。
Does this count as getting along?
約束の時間なので私はそろそろ失礼するよ。
Okay.
ベル、後で彼らを端末室に案内してあげたまえ。
端末室？どういうことですの？
事情は彼らから聞くといい。それではさらばだ。
Okay. I was low-key expecting him to turn around just before exiting the room and show his glowing smile again, but I guess that would be a bit too extreme.
逃げましたね。
それじゃあ早速案内をお願いできれば。
Lloyd, I think you're better off not talking in this situation. She is a bit too aggressive.
まだ話は終わってませんわ。
As I was saying.
そちらの赤毛のあなたもそんな派手な格好をして立派な体格をしているのだからきちんとしたスーツを着なさい。
Okay, I'm starting to think that she has that she loves suits too much.
俺っすか？いや、でも俺って根っからの遊び人だしな。
Randy, I don't think this is the situation where you should talk back too much.
ああ、それにそいつみたいに夜の屋上で同僚のお嬢さんといい雰囲気になったりしないし。
Randy, you bastard! Randy, this man just threw Lloyd under the bus. Not even the bus at this point, that's an actual truck. Dieter left. Then Belle started grilling Randy, but Randy threw Lloyd under the bus by mentioning the evening shenanigans with Elie.
なんですって？
ランディ、お前。
誤解されるようなことを言わないでちょうだい。あながち誤解ではないみたいですけど。
Dio, you're not helping.
エリーさんも随分元気になったみたいですし。
It's like half of the team is against Lloyd. unintentionally, or maybe intentionally at this point. Randy, I'm fairly confident that he did do this intentionally right now.
ティオちゃん
Theo is probably doing it unintentionally. I hope so, at least.
ああもうティオも引っかき回さないでくれ
Oh no.
ロイドさんと言ったかしら
Theo did not help. Belle seems to be agitated.
そのあたりのことをもう少し詳しく聞かせてくれないかしら私のエリーにどんなアレンジなことをしたのか
I mean, apart talking about barriers, nothing much. In fact, Lloyd doesn't even register that he was basically flirting with Elie towards the end of it. He didn't even register that.
いやしてませんってばだからエリーもなんでそこで黙るんだよ
Oh, even Elie is not help.
なるほど
Poor Lloyd.
事情は分かりましたわ
Poor Lloyd.
それであなたたちを端末室に案内すればいいのね
ええ頼めるかしら
無論エリーの頼みなら言うまでもありませんけど
Just give him a
誤解は解
break
けた
at
はず
this
では
point. Just give him a break.
まあいいでしょう特務支援課私もどの程度のものか気になっていましたしエリーの同僚にふさわしいかあなたに証明していただこうかしら
あはあなんで俺限定なんだろう
I mean, I'm actually with Lloyd here. Why is it only directed at Lloyd?
こりゃ完全に目をつけられちまったな。
Due to who, Randy? Due to who? You were the one who threw Lloyd under the bus. For the love of fuck.
ご愁傷様ですね
Theo, you are not helping.
もうベルいい加減にして端末室に案内してくれないの
もちろん案内しますわ端末室は IBC ビルの地下5階に設置されています
Seems like Randy not even want to acknowledge that he threw Lloyd under the bus there. Regardless, we're actually moving on now. According to Bell, terminal room is on B5.
さあエレベーターに乗りますわよ
すごい人だな
その悪い人じゃないのよ
I mean, sure, she just has a what's the word? A very strong personality.
ただちょっと強引というか行動力がありすぎるというか
Yeah, exactly what I just said.
しかし親父さんといいやたらとパワフルな親子だよな。
さすが天下の IBC のオーナーといったところでしょうか
Do we have anything to interact with here? No? The view? Any hidden documents to read? No? Well then. So, okay, we get confirmation. Oh, she's actually following us. I did not process that.
しかしその陰と言ったかしら。結局のところ目的は何なのかしら。
それは私たちにもまだわからないんだけど。
そういやどうだロイド、今回の事件についてそろそろ何かひらめかないのか？
ああ、そうだな。脅迫状とメールだけど同じ人間が書いたんじゃないかもしれない。
Ah, we'll get in the elevator. Seems like Lloyd has an idea about the situation. He thinks that maybe the threat letter and the old mail we got were written by different people.
何？
どういうことですか？
ああ、単純な話だよ。
Cancel all performances of your upcoming show, or the beloved fervent dancer will have a tragic accident.
イリアさんが受け取った脅迫状は不気味だけど単純な言い回し。
I hereby submit my support request. Overcome this trial and face me. Only then will I grant you your mission. This one is too specific, I think. Like, it is very specific. To the point that I'm not even sure if it's... What's the point? That's my question. Because, let's see, let's double check the things that we're dealing with. Elie slapped Revasha's Dawn because he was annoying her with things, and he apparently wanted her to perform at the God, what was it? Heimdall's. Was it Heimdall? I'm not even sure. He wanted her to perform somewhere in Erebonia, basically, I think. She declined him, then there was also some other stuff, and I think, and she slapped him. Which is what we learned at Garcia's, at the actual Mafia hideout. Meanwhile... And actually that ties in, because Yin is supposedly from Carvard, an assassin from Carvard, which means that it's more likely for it to be for Yin to be involved in Heiwa's business rather than Revasha's business. And since this is technically related to neither in the long run, this feels weird in the general sense. Because if their purpose was to impede Revasha in some way, then it does not make sense, because Elie is not related to Revasha. If it was Revasha doing this, where it also does not make sense, because according to Cao, regardless of how much we can trust him, he said that Heiwe does not participate in the entertainment industry, which means that Archangel is the last of their concerns. From which perspective from that perspective, this letter feels like it was written neither by anyone from Revashe or by anyone from Heiwe. At least it feels that way. Meanwhile, while this is written as entirely unrelated to everything else, with the exception of Yin being mentioned.
俺たちが受け取ったメールは古風で挑発的な言い回し。随分感じが違うと思わないか？
確かに
言われてみればそうだな。
メールが来たことに驚いてそこまでは考えてなかったわね。
それでそのことが何を意味しているのかしら。
そうですね。いろいろと可能性はあると思いますが、陰に手下がいた場合、そいつにメールを送らせた可能性、もしくは逆にそう思わせるために陰がわざと違いを出した可能性、他にもあるでしょうが、この段階でこれ以上推理を進めるのは逆に危険でしょうね。
なるほど。面白いですわね。そろそろ着きますわよ。
Seems like Belle is giving some approval to
ここが地下5階、メイン端末があるフロアですわ。端末室は階段を降りた先です。
随分厳重な場所に設置されているんですね。
いずれここで顧客の情報を管理することを考えていますから、ハッキング対策が十分でないため現状では見送られていますけど。
なるほど。
確かにもし流出したら大変なことになるでしょうね。
ええ、それも含めてまだまだ研究段階ですわ。
He also mentions some other possibilities, but says that basically we currently lack information to confirm anything. Belle seems to be evaluating Lloyd's a bit better now? Question mark. God, that's a lot of counters. Terminal room.
なんつうかめちゃくちゃすごそうな部屋だな。最新技術がてんこ盛りになっているのだけはわかるが、
エプスタイン財団製の最新情報処理システムですね。リベールの高速巡洋艦にも使われているそうですが、
あの有名なアルセイユ号ですわね。あれに使われているものと基本的には同じシステムですが、莫大なネットワーク情報に対応すべく処理容量は数倍に強化していますわ。
すごい。
マリアベルお嬢様、
お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様。
According to Bell, this room runs on a similar system as our sail, but with the only difference being that it is much more powerful.
仕事の方は順調かしら？
ええ、おかげさまで。
例のシミュレーションも順調にいきそうですが、こちらの方々は。
The researchers side mentioned some kind of a project that seems to be progressing well.
クロスベル警察の方々ですわ。実はここのメイン端末が外部からハッキングを受けた可能性があるらしいのです。
ハッキング？ティオ、彼らに一通り説明してもらえるか？
はい。
外部からのハッキング、可能性はあったけど、まさか本当に起こるなんて。
いや、でもありえないぜ。ハッキングなんてできる技術者がそう簡単にいるはずが。
もしハッキングでなければ、メールを送ったのがあなたたちである可能性が高くなりますわね。どちらがいいんなのかしら。
She's truly Dieter's daughter. Just like Dieter was trolling us by saying that he was Yin all along, she's trolling them by doing this.
そんな滅相もない。
僕たちが不甲斐ないからハッキングされたんだと思います。
Bruh.
なんていうか。
イリアさんとは違った意味で女王様って感じだよな。
特務支援課の端末にメールが届いたのが真夜中の3時頃。その時間帯のログはどうなっていますの？
はい。
すぐに調べます。
ありました。メールの転送システムがクラッキングされています。
やっぱり。
これで外部説が確定したってわけだな。
こちらも侵入経路を確認。アクセス元はダメだ、ロストしてしまってます。どこから入り込まれたかわからないってことですか？ああ、巧妙に痕跡を消されてしまっている。クロスベル市内のどこかなのは間違いないと思うけど。
やりますわね。
Bell asks them to check the logs, get confirmation that the system was indeed hacked and that the culprit used a terminal in the city.
端末を一つ貸してもらってもいいですか？
Tio?
え？
Tio seems to want to help.
だが
いいですわ。ティオさんと言ったかしら。好きにいじってしまって。
はい。それでは。アクセス A オンシステム起動。ティオちゃん、これは多次元解析によ
Oh,
る
sweet
リ
help.
アルタイム制御を施行。
She's just crunching through everything.
全端末のログを解析。隠蔽された痕跡の前後における不審なアクセスをすべて精査。
Go, Tio.
すごい。
なんだこの処理速度は。
サポートをお願いします。クロスベルの全ターミナルに管理者権限でアクセスをかけます。不審と思われるログを吐き出すのでチェックをお願いします。
任せてくれ。 エリー、わかるか？
さすがについていけないわね。
All that we need to know is that Tio is having fun.
俺なんか何をやってんのか理解すらできてねえんだが。
なるほど。ティオさんはオーバルスタッフの使い手ですのね。オーバルアーツをノーウェイトで発動するための高速展開技術が使われているそうですが、それを端末のコントロールに利用したのかもしれませんね。
わかるんですか？
ベルは一応エプスタイン財団で動力工学を学んだ経験があるから。
Tio's having fun. It seems. We also learned that Bell did orbital engineering studies at the Foundation.
と言ってもかじった程度ですけれど、終わったみたいですわね。
いかがでした？
こちらの持ち分は白だ。そっちはどうだ？
ビンゴ、こいつだ。ジオフロント B 区画第8制御端末。
Clay found the location. Control Terminal 8 Geofront B.
ここからアクセスしたらしい。
ジオフロント。
あの駅前通りの外れにある地下区画からかよ。
いいえ、あの場所はジオフロント A 区画になります。ハッキングに使われた端末の所在はジオフロントの B 区画。
市北西部の地下にあるエリアみたいだね。
Northwestern. Is that Northwestern? Wait a minute. Northwestern. I think isn't that residential?
市北西部、住宅街や
Yeah.
歓楽街のあたりね。
Seems like that's the residential area. Entrance, most likely.
ロイド、どうするの？
早速行ってみよう。ジオフロントのゲート管理は確か視聴者の管轄だったはずだ。鍵が借りられないか受付に問い合わせてみよう。
ああ、早速行ってみようぜ。
どうやら事件の核心に迫ってきたみたいですわね。
はい、いろいろとお世話になりました。
ありがとうベル。それに研究員の方々も。
いや
僕らよりそのお嬢さんの宝の方が大きいと思うよ。
そうだな。お疲れティオ。おかげで助かったよ。
お疲れ様。
さすがティオスケ、決めてくれるじゃん。
Good job.
その大したことじゃないです。
I don't think Tio does well with praise.
それに私も一応特務支援課の一員ですし。
十分大したものですわ。どうかしらティオさん、エリーともども私のところにリクルートするというのは。
Oh god, not another person trying to poach off members of SSS to wherever. First it's Ernest who wanted to basically poach Elie to work as the aide for Grandpa. And now it's Belle who wants to not just get Elie but also Tio.
ちょっとベル。
いきなり引き抜きっすか。
But we keep getting attempts to poach as SSS members. Belle tried to tried to poach Tio and Elie.
それはさすがに勘弁してほしいんですけど。
冗談ですわ。
I'm not so sure.
事件が無事解決したらぜひ顛末を教えてください。それとお渡ししたセキュリティカードはそのまま預けておきますわ。最上階とこのフロアならいつでも来られるようにしますから、何かあったら訪ねてくださいね。
Even more areas to check.
それでは失礼します。
そうそう、これは私の勘ですけど、おそらくメールを送った人物とインというのは別人ですわね。
Seems like we're going to City Hall now to get the geofront access. Yeah, Bell seems to think that it was indeed not Yin who sent the email.
明らかに専門の技術者、それもエプスタイン財団の関係者である可能性が高いです。
That's interesting. Tio does not seem to be surprised.
そんなことわかるの？そうですね。私もそう思いました。
She also mentioned that the culprit might be connected to the Foundation, and Tio seems to agree.
あれだけのネットワーク技術を使える人間は限られています。それにハッキングのくせにしてもどこかで見たことがあるような。
Tio seems to recognize the method.
そうなのか。
ああ、それともしそのハッカーを見つけた場合、そのまま泳がせたいですから放置しておいていただけますか？
Bell?
どうして？現時点でハッカー行為を取り締まる法律はありませんから。それならむしろ放置した上でこちらのプロテクト技術の向上に役立ってもらうことにしますわ。銀行機能の動力化を実現するにもハッカー対策は不可欠ですから。
Bell asks us to let the hacker off the hook if we find once we handle it. She wants to use the hacker as a measure for security advancement. And there is also no laws against hacking right now.
あなたって人は。
いやはや大胆というか強胆な人だね。
I mean, fair. If you can't currently handle the problem, why not use it to your advantage? That's fair. Okay. Probably. Let's see. Guess it's still locked. I wanted to check her room, but exit the building.
手がかりが入ったのはいいけど、なんだかどっと疲れたな。
そうだな。特にロイドはあのお嬢様に散々絡まれてたからな。
I mean, due to whose fault, Randy?
誰のせいだよ。
Yeah,
誰の
exactly.
でも専門ではない動力技術にあそこまで通じてる人は珍しいです。マリアベルさんは技術者ではないんですよね。
ええ、経営の方が専門ね。おじさまの右腕としていくつかの事業を任されていると聞いたことがあるけど。
それはすごいな。あ、ひょっとしてそれでエリーを欲しがっているのか。
うん、気持ちはありがたいんだけど。
しかしあの親父さんの方も相当強烈な感じだったよな。いきなりすごい演説みたいなのを始めちまうし。
でもなかなか興味深い話でした。人は正義を求める生き物ですか。
昔からためになる話をよくしてくださったけど、今日の話はとりわけ考えさせられてしまったかも。
そうだな。ともかくこれで手がかりはつかめた。視聴者の受付に頼んでジオフロントの鍵を借りよう。
ええ、
そんじゃ行くとするか。
Lloyd?
正義か。
Let's see if the dialogue is changed. Doesn't seem like it. But should I double check? Maybe. I guess the most obvious thing to double check would be whether we have more requests. Doesn't seem like it. But I wonder. Since this is in the same district as the monkey walking around, imagine if this is correct. Nope. Well then. I guess that's fine then. Quick break. Damn it. Quick break since we reached the 2-hour mark. A while ago actually, but still. back. Probably gonna end stream earlier, but we're still getting to the 3-hour mark at the very least. Now let's get the...
いらっしゃいませ。クロスベル視聴者へようこそ。
City Hall.
あら、確か警察の方でしたね。どなたかに面会でも？
いえ、実は
ジオフロント B 区画、確か市北西部でしたね。少々お待ちください。こちらになります。
ありがたくお借りします。
でも随分あっさりと貸してもらえるんですね。
ええ、クロスベル警察には便宜を図るよう言われていますから。ちなみに遊撃士協会にも同じ鍵をお貸ししています。
そうなんですか。
ジオフロント B 区画の扉は住宅街の水路付近にあります。以前、鍵をなくされた方もいるので、くれぐれも紛失にご注意ください。
ええ、わかりました。
サンクスお姉さん。
Let's see, has anything changed? Guess not. My assumption is that not enough time has passed? Question mark. Oh, regardless. Let's check out what the hell is happening here. God, the Geofront OST is banger.
ここがジオフロント B 区画か。見たところ A 区画と変わらなさそうだけど。
Got the key. Geofront B.
データベースによるとクロスベル市の水道施設を管理している一角のようですね。
Geo says that according to the database, this sector is for controlling the city's water systems.
問題の第8制御端末は上層のどこかにあるかと思います。
Target should be somewhere upper stratum.
メールの内容を見る限り私たちを待ち受けている可能性が高いかもしれないわね。
本当に話があるのか、それとも罠か何かなのか。用心しといた方が良さそうだな。
ああ、慎重に進んでいこう。
If I can get towards the end of this before the 3-hour mark, that would be nice.
そこです。
Really? You're rather...
Hey.
There we go.
先生可能。始めましょう。
よし。
それ。
チャンスです。皆さんお願いします。
This is probably going to kill. It didn't kill, but that's actually good. Oh, I'm not getting any EXP from them, which is not a surprise by any means. Oh, really?
先生可能始めましょう。
チャンスだ。よし、畳みかけるぞ。
さてと、私の番でそこです。
よっしゃま、こんなもんかね。
Ah, boy. I was actually not expecting that joke. But, okay. I mean, we have this path. Where does this go?
そこです。
よし、一気に行くぞ。
大丈夫です。
チャンスだ。よし、畳みかけるぞ。
私の番です。分析を開始します。情報を入手。行きます。へい。
私が。さあ、先を急ぎましょう。
That goes up. Then where does this go? That goes there, that's fine.
敵接近、狙い撃つわ。
データ収集を中断します。
Oh, it goes here.
そこです。
I could believe it. I guess this would potentially be progression.
Hey.
If that's progression, then where does this lead? Oh, that's where it leads. True. This chest did keep me waiting. I don't even want to bother with enemies currently. Unless there's like some hidden double encounters. Or rather, hidden encounters in the thing, but yeah. Because all of these are handled. That was a chest. That looks like a monster chest.
さあかかってこい。
さへい
行くぜ。よし。
さそこです。
俺行くぞ。
行きまへい。
任せ。
まこんなもんかね。
Okay, so that could... Wait, give me a second.
Minna, はい。ガンナーモード起動します。私の番ね。
俺の番だな。よっしゃ。ありがとう。よっしゃぜ。行くぞエリア。
私そこです。
任せてくれ。
そこ。さへい。
行くぜ。任せてエリア。
よかった。
Cross my bell and hope to die with a tonfa. Give me a black eye. Wait a minute, I spoke a lie. Seriously, don't APA. God, the writing on this, the writing is just beautiful. This should allow me to get back here and go here as well. Not sure what this results in though.
さあ始めましょう。はい。
こいつはどうだい。
行きます。ドライブ開始。
行くぞ。エニグマ駆動。
Oh, that's a
任せて。
static.
さてそこです。
それ。まだまだいける。
Wait, EP cut 2. EP cut 2. Give me a second. Do I actually have Oh, I don't. I think AP cut 2 might be better here. Let's see. We get Chaos Brand, we get a lot of recovery, but that's probably the default. We get Calamity Claw, whatever that is. P-Cut 2 is nice, but I'm not sure if that's... Wait, why? Why is that here?
よーし一気に行くぞ。
チャンスです。
行くぜ。よーしやっとまだまだいける。
そこです。そこです。
よーし一気に行くぞ。チャンスだ。これが俺たちの力だ。
そこです。さあ私の始めましょう。
俺のか
私の番ね。
行くぞ。
助かりました。
行くぞ。
行きま
よし
さ
甘いってろ。任せてや
そこです。
俺ぜ
任
甘いってろ。よしそう
行きま
行くぜ。
ちょろいぜ。
Nice. Is this like the half? Not even a halfway point. This seems like the end of the thing. Huh. Oh, might as well. Fishing. Bot. Big bot.
バックを取られた。気をつけろ。
了解です。
Really?
はい。ガンナーモード起動します。
俺の番だな。
行くぞ。さあ行くぞ。
さてと。
俺の番だな。それ。
ありがとう。そこです。
よっしゃ
任せてくれ。
さてと。エニグマ駆動。行きます。助かりました。
任せろ。エニグマ駆動。
俺の番だな。エニグマ
さてと。
駆動。
エニグマ私の番です。
俺の番だ。おととい来やがれってな。
wasn't that hard, with a few exceptions. Ah. Well, seems like we got somewhere. Found a room that has music playing out of it at the end of the route.
おそらく第8制御端末はこの先にあるのではないかと。
Well
という
then.
ことはこの先にインとハッカーが。
とにかく中を覗いてみよう。インがいるかもしれないからみんな気をつけてくれ。
ええ。
Oh, I can actually go back. That's nice.
ここなら釣れそうだな。それ。
I'm just gonna fish a few times and then we're gonna end stream. That doesn't bite. Does this bite? I know that it's technically a cliffhanger, but I mean, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry, plus I'm going to be quite busy this week again. But if I do manage to get some streams in, then that's going to be very, very good. Anyway. Holding to teal, this is the place. And handling this next stream. Also found a fishing spot in the boss room. There we go. Anyway, whoever is going to be watching this now or later, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And see you in the next stream, which honestly I have no idea when it's going to be, but at the latest it's going to be the next weekend, give or take, at the latest. And if I do manage to squeeze some streams before that, I have some other games that I want to try. I mean, there is Hacker 9 that I should be finishing. Or continuing. Finishing seems to be a very long way away. But yeah, I have a few other games that I want to try. Well, try, play, and finish, ideally. Actually, now that I think about it, are there any games that I have not actually finished that I've played? Actually, there is one there is one, and that is Afterlife 2, because I technically started that after the failed Afterlife 1 shenanigans, but then I ended up continuing the Afterlife 1 shenanigans and actually finished the game. So I do have Afterlife 2 as an unfinished thing that I did start, so that's also happening eventually, I guess. Well, anyway. Adios. Adios.